Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am. I hope the sun's shining where you are. Oh, what else can I say? I hope that everything is going your way. Hope you're having a great morning. I want to let you know that we are live. It is the 19th of May at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can find us over in the chat room. If you head over to 12radio.com, click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat room. You'll see my banner at the top of the page. That's where a lot of people are chatting and talking and carrying on, and that's where you want to be. So head over and say hello. I also want to let you know that I am live streaming this event from my fan page, and I'm starting a watch party. That's Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic on Facebook. But I also am starting a watch party in the Facebook group, so you can find it there. So that is happening right now. So you can watch it if you would rather watch than listen. All righty. So we have a lot of ground to cover today, per normal. I hope you guys are having a good week. Last week was pretty tumultuous, wasn't it? All of those planets in retrograde. It made everybody mean. And maybe we're one of them. I feel like I was one of them. It was just a hard, weird week. I was not a big fan of the energy we were in at all. And I know a lot of you guys weren't either because we talked. And I know that some of you guys felt as yucky as I did about the energy last week. I really hope it's going to get better this week. I think it will. We haven't really started off with a bang, quite honestly, but I'm hoping we get there. Yesterday was an extremely anxious and uncomfortable day, but today does feel a little bit better. So here's hoping, right? I realized looking at my yard a few days ago that I don't like it. I don't like my front yard. Particularly, I really hate the flower bed that's up against my house. And I don't like it because it doesn't look good. It's hard to maintain. The tulips in that bed are extremely fragile and they fall apart in no time. And it just doesn't make me happy. And I realized, you know what? Why am I keeping this flower bed like this when I don't like it? Like, why would I do that? And so I enlisted the help of my kids and Scott yesterday. I went over to the store with a mask on, of course, and picked up a bunch of bark and ground cover and flowers and edging and things. And we came back and we tore that entire bed out and apart and put it back together. And it's finally gorgeous. So I couldn't be happier about that. I finally have a flower bed I think I can be proud of. So yay. It's not about being proud of it per se for me. It's the energy of it, right? It's the energy of having this presentation of the front of my house not looking like something that reflects me and not feeling good about that. And so I'm so excited. I'm really, really pleased with the work that we did. So I'll put a little video in the chat room so that you guys can see what we came up with. And I apologize for the road noise. We have a lot of it. But at any rate, hopefully you'll like seeing it. We liked doing it. Interestingly, just as we were finishing up, a huge storm blew up. We were barely able to finish before it stormed and stormed. Isn't that typical? But anyway, we managed to get it done. So very good stuff. All right. Well, it is that day where I read from a bunch of decks from my colleagues and myself. So a little later on in the show, I'm going to read for you from Mo Tarot, from Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move. That's my deck. From Charisty's deck, the Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle deck, and from Kelly McLean's decks, Resistance is Futile, and what does she call the other one? Sweary Spirituality. So we'll read from all four. So how that works is when, if I'm going to read for you, if I'm going to read for you, I will just trust Spirit to let me know which decks to pull from and we'll do that. So if you would like a reading from me today from all of these fun decks, just let me know and I will do that. I'll get to some of you, probably not all of you, towards the end of the show. But let's cover some ground. So Christy and I released our latest podcast and video cast over on YouTube. And of course, through all of our podcasts, that is our True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters podcast. This was the Delphi murders. What happened to Abby and Libby? We did it really different this time. Christy studied the case, and I did not. And then she laid it out to me just live on our show. And I did a cold read and channeled one of the girls. And it turned out really well. It was a great way to do it. So that I wasn't overly influenced by information. I had very little information to put together a reading on what I believe happened. So if you're interested in that, I put a link in the chat room to the YouTube video, but you can also find it on pretty much any podcast carrier. And that is True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. So check it out and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think happened to these lovely girls. Yeah. And of course, we do have a Facebook page, and that is True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. So all of that jazz. All righty. It was a really interesting one. I'm also going to talk a little bit today about the art of agreeing to disagree. Speaking to a dear friend this morning, we were talking about how polarized our world is right now, how angry everybody is, and how difficult it has become to agree to disagree. That we are so determined that everyone has to fall in line with the way we see things, or not necessarily us. Maybe the person you're talking to is determined that you have to agree with them. Once upon a time, we could agree to disagree, right? We could have conversations, but we certainly didn't have to force everyone to see it our way. And the people we talked to didn't have to force us to see it their way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the art of getting there so that we don't necessarily have to force everyone to see it our way, because dang, that's a hard road, right? Okay, so that is a part of the show today. Let's talk about Luminous Magazine. Always a place that we want to go. And if you subscribe to Luminous, you probably received it about an hour ago. But I'm going to share a link in the chat room. You can also find it by heading over to katie-weaver.com, and you'll find it right there. Easy enough. But I want to make sure you guys can find it if you'd like to take a look. I have a few things I want to share from it this morning. So let me share a link here. And again, you can find it over at katie-weaver.com as well. Wow, that created an insanely long link. All right, Facebook, I guess, have it your way. Okay. We don't know what's going on. We're just here for fun, right? Hopefully. All right. Well, I called the Luminous magazine. I always give it a name every week. How I do that is I usually read through, what's been submitted and use that as a way to inspire myself to know what we should call the magazine this week. First, though, I have to share the cover. Is the cover not the coolest thing? This is a picture that my sister Christy took while we were camping last weekend in one of our favorite places in the world. There was this absolutely phenomenal rainbow ring around the sun. And she took a beautiful picture of it and gave me permission to share it today as our cover. And it's so cool. So thank you for that. So I called the magazine this week the Let Nothing Dim Your Light edition. Why? Because there's a lot of energy out there that would like to dim your light right now. Things that want to make you worry, want to make you be fearful, things that make you waste a lot of your time. And I'm very guilty of it. I'm not immune from it at all. But sometimes we have to find our way away from it. Sometimes we have to step away from the internet. Sometimes we have to step away from too much social media. I have found myself putting a lot of my friends on snooze for a while because so much of what they are posting is so fear-based, and I just can't do it right now. I realized that my Facebook page was giving me a lot of anxiety and that that's my own choice. And so lots of people that I actually dearly love have taken a little snooze on me for a bit because I just can't do it right now. I needed a break from too much turmoil, too much trauma, just too much. I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and it can be different for you than it is for me, the kinds of things that are triggering you. And that's okay, right? We're all different. We're all on a different path here. We're all doing the best we can, but ultimately, oh, just too much. So, anyway, oh, Mary said, your podcast on Abby and Libby was mesmerizing and so good. Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate you very much, and thanks for listening. Okay. So back to Luminous here for a few minutes. Alrighty. I did a little thing. Some of you guys have already done it, but I put together a little kind of a quiz. I called it a quiz. I don't know if it's a quiz. It is a little offering to decide what goddess you should connect to right now. I did a quiz once before, years ago. Some of you guys probably took it. It was called What Kind of Empath Are You? And it was really fun. And so on Friday, I had this idea that I wanted to do something like that. But I discovered that every platform I wanted to use couldn't really support all of the video I wanted to use. It took me about a day to puzzle it all out, but I finally realized that I had a platform I could put it on and make it turn out just fine. So I did that. So I put a link in the chat room, but you can find it in Luminous as well. And you simply just click on the card below the crystal that you resonate with the most, and that will take you to the goddess that you should connect to right now. And then there's a short YouTube video from me with a message about and from that goddess. So I would love to know if you guys, if that was fun, if you like that, if it was useful. I might do a few more of those. I had fun doing it. And frankly, if I'm not having fun, I'm probably not doing it anyway. But I would love some feedback on that if it was helpful. I know it turned out a little bit confusing on which card to click. Unfortunately, that was a part of the switch, the change in platforms, but I think most of you got there. So, anyway, there's that. I also have a class coming up tomorrow. This is 7 creative ways to use crystals to enhance your life. I know that you know that I use crystals constantly in my life and in what I do. And I also know that a lot of you guys do too, and that we have a shared love of crystals a lot of the time. So I put this class together, hoping to maybe bring some new and fun ideas together. If you're brand new to crystals, this is perfect for you. Or if you're just a crystal junkie like me and you always want some new ideas and thoughts about what to do with all of these cool stones you're collecting, it might be for you as well. So that is tomorrow, Wednesday, the 20th at 3 p.m. Pacific over at 12 Academy. So you can register for it at 12academy.com. And it is a Zoom class, so we'll teach it over video because it is interactive and I'm going to want to show you some things. So that's coming tomorrow. I'm so excited. So that's what's happening for me this week over at 12 Academy. Kai had an article this week called A Beautiful Mantra, and I loved it so much. She was talking about a wonderful woman that she was connected to when she was a child that she learned a lot from. And I really loved it. Kai, your article touched me a lot. It made me think a lot about people who have touched my life. And she said, don't hold on to those nuggets and neglect to tell those stories. And I thought that was really smart. So I'm going to tell some of those stories too, not today, but another day. But thank you, Kai. I loved your article so much. My tip this week is to support the bees. Honeybee populations, as we know, have been dwindling, and we can help. So consider planting a few flowers this year that support the bees. Here's the thing. Some of the flowers that you buy from the store have been treated with pesticides that will kill the bees. And so you have to be careful. It's really a lot of plants are now labeled that they're bee safe. So do a little research, make sure that you are buying or potting or planting things that are safe and good for the bees. A good Variety are asters, butterfly bush, butterfly weed, fennel, lavender, bee balm, oregano, sunflowers, coneflowers, and yarrow, among many others. But those are some that the bees particularly love. Right now, the bees are feasting in my yard in my crabapple tree. I have an enormous crabapple tree that is in full pink bloom and it's absolutely stunning right now. I walked out there yesterday to just smell the blooms and take it all in, and holy moly, it was absolutely loaded with bees. So that made me very happy. Good stuff. So, but yes, plant something for the bees. Just something. And don't use pesticides. All righty. The card Christy pulled from us for this week from her deck is the relationships card, which I thought was brilliant considering that we are in a course of history right now where relationships are extremely taxed in lots of different capacities. The primary message of the card is to connect or connection with people, connections with yourself, unconditional love, understanding, and support. If there's a challenge in this area, that could lead to loneliness, conditional love, and judgment. The crystal is mangano calcite and the meditation. I open my heart to allow love in. I accept myself and others for who they are. I set clear boundaries that keep me safe. I really, really loved that. I think that's something we needed to hear and remember. Melissa's Magic Monday message. Money is the root of abundance. I loved it. How often have we been told money is what? Yeah, I know you said it with me. The root of all evil. Is it true? No, money is a tool. But you know what? When we believe money is the root of all evil, I think in a lot of ways it keeps us from, wanting to attract money. Could that be a part of your own abundance issues? Is that a core belief that has sunk into you because you've heard it said so many times by other people? I know that a lot of people have that that's been a part of their own challenge. So, if that's something that has been a part of your path, maybe consider that and create a new mantra around money. I really like that. I appreciated it a lot. So, again, she said, money is the root of abundance. So, it seems simple enough. We have Chris Ann's tarot scopes that are fantastic. We have our brand new column from Kat. My good friend Kat is bringing us her magical messages for the week, her tarot forecast. She also gave us a spread this week to try when throwing some cards. So definitely take a look at that. It's awesome. And of course, Anita brings us Lord Hanuman. So she brings us a master every week. She talked about her connection to Lord Hanuman yesterday on 1 2 News. She was my guest, and we discussed an experience she had with Lord Hanuman. So it just only made sense that he be the master this week. So I hope that you read what she says about him, but also have a chance to listen to 1 2 News. We had a really good conversation. Kelly's bitch scopes this week are awesome, so informative. I've really relied on her scopes here the last couple of weeks to help me navigate through and understand all of these retrogrades because, as you know, an astrologer, I am not. And Kelly is so, so good. So I'm just going to read one to you of her bitch scopes this week, and hopefully you go and take a look at all of the rest of them. So I guess we'll take a look at Taurus because I think we're in just about the last day of Taurus, aren't we? We're really close. So let's take a look. She says, cue up your money playlist, Taurus. This week, that's almost all of what will be on your mind. Almost, because you know what the rest of your mind is. Anyway, do your homework when it comes to money making opportunities. In this case, under the current energy, you'd be well advised to share your plans with one trusted person who has a good head for whatever the plan is. But don't overshare or share with the wrong people. You already know who this person is. You probably already know who the wrong person is too. So be careful who you share with, but do share. Great advice. Julie's Gems is a lovely card from her collection of cards that she makes from her soul collage cards with a really sweet message about connecting and grounding to Mother Earth. Jamie Dawn had a really interesting interview this week in her Celestial Wisdom with Jamie Dawn with a friend of hers. It was fantastic. So hopefully you have a chance to watch her video. And lastly, Caroline's column. Her article is about learning to take responsibility. And by the way, hopefully you caught it. Caroline's brand new show launched yesterday right here on 12 Radio. And it was fantastic. So she is coming on every other week right after 12 News. And we are so happy to have her in that spot. So, very happy to welcome her to 12 Radio and tell her, good job, Caroline. We're so happy to have you here. So, so many good things going on, right? All right. Well, that is Luminous, you guys. Hopefully, you'll have a chance to sit down with a cup of tea and read through it and watch the videos and just allow it to be a part of your build up, your boost this week. That's always the hope, right? Okay. Oh dear. Jane said, listening covertly, misplaced a package of important personal papers I drove cross country with. Hopefully, they didn't blow out in the wind en route or left at a hotel. But if any psychics get a hit, please share. I still think you have them, Jane. Did you put some luggage away or give something to somebody else that you had brought for them? I feel like maybe you have misplaced it within your space, but that you do have it somewhere. Okay. We'll keep on going here, and hopefully you find them soon. Darn it, that sucks. Jane's been on quite the adventure driving cross country with her cat. Pretty awesome. I love it. Okay. Well, let's keep on keeping on here. We are going to do some work today on the third chakra, on the solar plexus. This is about really helping to build everybody up, build up your own personal power, your self esteem, help you to expand that chakra. Sometimes when we do this practice, I have you really amp up your light. I'm not worried about your light today. I'm more worried about you being able to stand in your own power. And I don't mean that you have to be ready to fight. We're going to talk about that today. But I do mean that you need to be ready to be able to be okay, to be okay with who you are, with what you want, and with what you believe. Because there's a lot of bullies out there right now. Sometimes we are the bullies. I know. I'm not judging, truly. I mean, we all are kind of in a place right now of trying to figure out what the hell, but at any rate, I think some a good buildup of the solar plexus is important. So I'm going to get the bowl out. It is a crystal bowl. I'm going to play the bowl. The first time I do, I would like you to just allow the frequency of the singing bowl to release anything you're carrying that's no longer serving you. Pretty simple. So we'll start there. Perfect. Okay. So that's the easy part. Now we're going to dig deep because here's what I find in the solar plexus. I find a lot of core beliefs from your childhood. I find places where you were disempowered, whether that was by an adult in your life or it was by a person. Sometimes it's your early childhood experiences, like your first relationship or your first marriage, or, you know, early experiences with teachers or with professors, roommates. You still have core beliefs forming at that time sometimes. And what has happened to many of you is that you have had experiences where you got stomped down, had experiences where your opinion didn't matter, your light didn't matter, what you had to offer didn't matter. And because of that, that can put you in a weird space of feeling like you don't have any personal power. And it could be because you were in an abusive relationship. It could be because your parents weren't parents that allowed kids to make choices or to be heard or to have a voice. There's lots of reasons, you know. Sometimes it's pretty benign even, but we tend to sometimes fall back on that and forget that we do have a powerful voice that matters. Our opinions matter, our beliefs matter, our voice, our light matters. So this time, I'm going to ask you all to consider what core belief you could be carrying that could be affecting the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about your life, the way you feel about the energy that you carry and the energy that you hold. This is how you are able to carry the light. This is how you're able to let go of the things that have held you back and amp up your light. So, the core belief. So, I'm going to let you all consider what the core belief is. Core beliefs are usually a statement. Could it be a statement like, no one listens to me? No one cares what I have to say? No one hears me? My opinion doesn't matter? I know one of the things, or maybe a few of them that I'm saying, are hitting you in the gut. I get it. If they're not, more power to you. You don't have to create that, right? But for many of you, one of those phrases, or maybe you've already chosen it, has hit you in the gut. So we're going to do a group healing here to really get you guys to help you release that core belief, okay? Once we've released the core belief, then we have to form a new one. And I'm going to help you do that too. If this is really hard for you, if creating the core belief, if locating the old one is too much or isn't working for you, call me over at 12Listen and I will help you do it. I do core belief work with people all the time. But if you are identifying it and you can do the work with me right here, awesome. More power to you. So here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to use the singing bowl, but we're also going to use a Merkaba clearing, and I'm going to command that. And so I'm going to make the command, and then I'm going to play the bowl. And while I play the bowl, we're going to allow the frequency of the singing bowl to help pull those core beliefs both out of your solar plexus and out of the programs that are running in your brain. That's the hell of core beliefs. A lot of times they're lodged in more than one place, and nearly always they're somewhere in your thought process, right? Because it's a part of how you think. I mean, you think about a basic core belief like that the stove is hot, right? You learned that when you were little. How did you learn it? Well, a couple of ways. Either somebody said to you repeatedly, don't touch that, that's hot. Or maybe one time you did touch that and that was hot. And the core belief became an action. You knew, don't touch the stove, it's hot, right? And now with your own children or nieces and nephews or your cat that gets on the counter, you go, don't touch that, it's hot. That's a core belief. That's a healthy one, right? But other core beliefs that are formed maybe aren't so healthy, or maybe you needed them then and you don't need them now. But that's kind of how they form. So I hope that you have identified the core belief that you want to work on. I'm going to take a quick look in the chat room before we go on, just in case we have any questions about it. And then we're going to move forward with the work. So, okay, looks like we're good. All righty. So we're going to go ahead. So I just want you to hold space here with me. I'm going to make the command, and then while I play the bowl, we're going to watch the work happen. So starting in your solar plexus, commanding a Merkaba clearing, commanding that the core belief, and you speak the core belief aloud now, be pulled, healed, and cleared in all directions of time now, through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now, through the solar plexus and the programs that you run in your brain, and any other place that this core belief may have settled. Perfect. Okay, so that's the clearing, right? That is clearing up the core belief. Now we have the joy of replacing it. Replacing a core belief with a positive affirmation is simple. It's really just deciding what would you like to be? What would you like to have in its place? Is this a new belief that is just countering the old one? Is it a little different? Perhaps if your core belief was that no one cares what I have to say, perhaps the new belief or the new affirmation is my words are heard and validated. Perhaps if the core belief was nobody wants me around, the new core belief is I am loved and supported in many ways. Right? Are you catching on? You decide. What is the new affirmation? So we're going to do it the same way, except for that we'll do a blessing this time. And I will ask you to speak your affirmation aloud as a part of our process. And I'm going to play the bowl again. Why are we using a singing bowl to do this work? Because it's powerful. The frequency of the bowl just helps to enhance the work that we are doing, and it's powerful. So why wouldn't we, right? Why not use every tool in our toolbox? All right, so here we go. Pardon me. All right, so we're going to command a Merkaba blessing, starting at your solar plexus, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely shifting your frequency and implying a new core belief that, speak your new core belief now, commanding these frequencies to shift through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now, through your solar plexus, the programs in your brain, replacing the old with the new, and any other place in your body or spirit body where the old belief was pulled. Perfect. Very good. Okay. That can be hard work. I know. I see Belle saying that had her tearing up. I get it. It can be hard work. It can be painful work to find those core beliefs. And yet, how rewarding to find them, lift them, give you a break from them, give you an opportunity to decide what you really want to believe about you rather than what you were told once upon a time. So, very good work. I hope that is helpful for you guys. And again, if you ever need help with core belief work that you're not necessarily getting done on your own, come see me. Let's talk about it. I will help you. We will get it done. All right. Let's talk about agreeing to disagree. This is a biggie right now, right? It's tough. Here's how it works. Somebody says something to you, or they say it on social media, that you strongly disagree with. And either you feel like you have to counter that because one, you're just in so much defiance of it, or two, you don't want to seem as though you agree. This is a tough one, right? Because people will speak to you in a sense that perhaps they are implying that you agree the same or you feel the same way they do about any given topic, right? Let's use something so completely benign that it won't trigger anyone. If someone says to you, "Good thing that sky is blue," or "I don't know what we'd do," and the sky is clearly full of clouds, Do you agree with them that the sky is blue? Or do you say, well, actually, the sky is not blue? Or I don't think the sky is blue. And if you say that, is that going to create a debate? Is it going to start a fight? In our current world, yeah, it probably will. It might. How do we all become people who can agree to disagree? Well, one way is by simply using the phrase, right? Someone says the sky is blue, it clearly is not. You don't want to agree with them. And sometimes you do, right? Sometimes you go, it's not worth the fight. And maybe, this is your 80-year-old grandpa and he's not going to change his mind and you're not either. And maybe it's easier to just go, yeah, yeah, look at that blue sky, right? Sometimes it's not. And I'm using blue sky because that is easy, right? That's not going to trigger anyone. I won't use a political reference or a COVID reference or anything else in this argument because I want you to hear the argument, not get lost in the conversation, right? So hopefully you understand what I'm saying right there. I hope that's making sense. But maybe with 80-year-old grandpa, you go, yeah, interesting, right? But maybe with others, you don't. But if you say, well, I've been looking at the sky and I did some research on the sky, and it seems to me like the sky is indeed really not blue at all. It's several shades of gray. Well, the other person can come back with you with an argument about why it is blue. Sometimes in our current world, people come back to explain to you just exactly how stupid you are and that you need to educate yourself. Some people will end the conversation right now because they're not speaking to people who don't believe the sky is blue. And some people will be willing to agree to disagree. Perhaps they will say, I've been researching too. I've been looking at the sky, and to me, it is very blue. And that's an opportunity to say, well, that's okay. We can agree to disagree, right? It's okay to disagree. It's okay to not feel the same way. Now, you all have your limits. You all have certain conversations, certain things about this situation, whatever it is, that are the backbreakers, right? You all have certain things that are your limit. Perhaps it's racism. Perhaps it is discrimination. Perhaps it is something else entirely. You all have your limits, and that's okay. That's okay. I will never sit here and tell you that you need to take abuse from anybody. But when it comes down to learning how to have conversations with people, just conversations, we all have to get a little better at agreeing to disagree. Part of it is leaving your ego home and recognizing that they don't have to be any righter. They don't have to be than you do. They don't have to agree with you any more than you have to agree with them. A few easy responses are, that's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought about it that way before. I'll have to look into that. I'm not really sure. Or, thank you for sharing your point of view with me. A little gratitude goes a long way, right? There are some people that certain topics are probably not great for conversation. There are some people that want to talk about things that you definitely are going to clash on. And if you don't feel like you can have a civil conversation, it's a good thing to change the subject. It's also okay to say, I think you and I are pretty far apart on this topic. I think we can agree to disagree, but perhaps we should move on and talk about yada, yada, yada. It's okay to say to someone, we're not going to come together on this one. I can see that right now. Let's talk about something else. That's okay. That's absolutely okay, right? Nobody has to be made uncomfortable. Nobody has to be talked down to. There is a way. Now, you might find yourself conversing with someone who cannot meet you there, right? It's their way or the highway. The only thing they can see is their opinion. They won't hear anything else. That's happening quite a bit. And in those cases, sometimes it's better to just hang it up, right? To just go, well, I don't think this conversation is going anywhere. I'm going to end it here. And that's okay too. That is okay too. But I think that's something that it would behoove us all, me included, to do a better job at finding a way to agree to disagree and to hear out somebody else's opinion and their side of a conversation. Somehow, we have become convinced that if somebody doesn't see things the same way we do, they're not worth our time. Or we don't want to explore their argument, right? Our egos have become such that we don't want to explore their argument. You will not change my mind. I know the sky is blue. I don't want to hear it. You can take your scientist or you can take your whatever, your pictures or your proof and pound sand because I don't want to change. That's a lot of what we're having happen right now. People don't want proof. They don't want to know. They don't want to change. We may be no different, right? And if that's the case, agree to disagree and move on. Okay. So hopefully that starts us down that path. It's probably a conversation that could go on for an entire show all on its own. But maybe that'll get us somewhere. Maybe that will start a conversation or end a few. We'll see. Either way, I know and you know that it will be what it is, but it's a good thing for all of us to just practice our own interpersonal skills a little bit and not let the societal influences that we have been seeing maybe affect us too much. It's become really normal to be nasty. It's become really normal to throw out insults. It's become extremely common for us to tell each other, you need to educate yourself. You need to wake up. You need to figure it out. Those are not kind things to say to people, right? It's one of those things that we have to get beyond our own egos. We have to get beyond having to be right. I know that many of us have a lot of concerns right now about what's going on in our world. And I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't express those concerns. I think that they should be expressed. I think all of our cards should be on the table so that we can all make well-educated and well-reasoned decisions about what we believe, how we want to move forward, what we need to do for ourselves and our families. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I hope I can remember it when I need it. Carry on, right? All right. Well, let's do a few readings. We've got a few more minutes. So these are cards, of course, from myself and a few of my colleagues. I have Mo Tarot. I have the Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle deck from Christy. I have Kelly McLean's cards, and I have mine. So, Catherine, Katie asked for a reading. I'm going to pull for you first. So I'm going to pull from my deck first, from Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move. Kind of, at some point. Here we go. Okay. And then I'm also going to pull you a card, Katie, from Christy's deck, from the Energy Oracle deck. Right here. It's the only thing I don't like about using cards on the show is I feel like I'm wasting time by having to, shuffle and use them correctly. But it's not a waste of time. It's just my own. I don't like to feel like I'm wasting your time. I guess it's from all these years working on a psychic hotline, right? Always quick, because I never want a client to feel like I'm wasting their time or their money. That really bothers me. So, okay, here we go. All right. The Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle card is Act. These are fractal cards. If you're looking at them with me, Act. The primary message is action, motion, time to choose, physical movement, create change. And I really think that's a big part of the message for you, Katie, is that you've got to pull the pin and create some change somewhere. I suspect this has to do with a property that you've been trying to sell. Maybe it's time to change realtors. It's time to change tactics, time to make a change in some way. The challenge is finding resistance, apathy, a lack of inertia, and indecision. So Again, I'm going back to that same thing. Crystal, the banded agate to carry to help you to initiate change or take action, make act happen. The meditation is I trust my choices and move forward with my plan. So, again, trusting you, taking action that makes sense for you, regardless of really, the opinions of other people that might not be all that helpful, and giving yourself an opportunity to make a change. All right. The Ground Bless Protect and Move card is a protect card. It is the bulletproof glass card. So this card indicates to me that you need a little more psychic protection. I feel like you've had either some distant family members or former, let's say it that way, former family members, uh, and others that may have been throwing a few darts your way, sabotaging you a little bit, gossiping about you, just being unkind towards you and your family. And you are such a sensitive person that I feel like you kind of feel those attacks coming in. The bulletproof glass card is a practice. So it's a practice of surrounding yourself or throwing up between you and that person a thick pane of energetic bulletproof glass, a big, thick wall. And I'm helping you do it. I'm going to do it for you right now. But you can keep envisioning that a big, thick wall of bulletproof glass so that their insults, attacks, whatever it is, cannot make it through, can't touch you. I put it in place, but you can envision it and continue to keep that strong. So there you are. Okay. Kelly. Kelly, I want to pull a card for you from Kelly's decks. Kelly, wow. I actually did not do that on purpose, but it happened. Okay. So Kelly, meet Kelly McLean's cards. These are her Sweary Spirituality and Resistance is Futile decks. So I feel like you could use a little sass. Kelly, you feel to me like you are exhausted, that you are so energetically exhausted and tired of putting out fires and tired of trying to pretend like you're okay sometimes when you're not, that you just about can't do anything else. So I feel like that's why we had to pull a card for you from this deck, because you need a little sass. And Kelly will bring you sass. This Kelly. Okay. I'm going to pull two. Not even using a different deck, using two from my Kelly. All right. The first card says the glass is neither half empty nor half full. It is a work in progress, as are you, damn it. I love this card for you because you hold yourself at such a high standard and you have allowed other people to hold you at such a high standard. It makes me think about people in the workforce who work so hard that they are constantly expected to work harder while other people do not. I think you can resonate with that statement as far as work and home are concerned, and that you need to give yourself permission to fall apart. You need to give yourself permission to take a day off. You need to give yourself permission to say no and to draw up some great boundaries. You are also a work in progress and you don't have to be perfect. You actually are perfect exactly as you are. So the other card is I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is a quote by Edison about self judgment and resisting failure. What were we just saying about that? Kelly, be kind to yourself. Give yourself some opportunities to unwind and to step back. You really need it. You really need it. I feel like that exhaustion in you needs some rest. You got to quit having to be the fireman for everybody around you every day. It's too much. And frankly, it's not fair. Yeah, she said she's been working on herself a lot. Good, good, good. Employ the big N word. No, right? You can do it. All right. Good job, Kelly. Thank you for the opportunity. Let's see. Just refreshing the chat here. Okay, sorry, you guys. I'm just slower than slow. Actually, Facebook is a little slow. We'll blame Facebook. They're not here to defend themselves. I mean, they are, but all right. Sandy said, I would like to ask if you see me finding a cat to adopt very soon, please. I haven't given up hope of finding my missing cat. but I just miss having a pet. Did you guys hear that big bloop just now? One of the fish in the fish aquarium in my office, like, jumped. How crazy. Okay. Well, Sandy, that's wild because it happened while I was reading your question. Isn't that something? I do find you finding a cat soon, not a kitten. This looks to me like either maybe a kitty that's about a year old or an adolescent-y kitten, a little bit bigger, but I don't feel like it's an old cat. It's a younger cat, but I do see a cat coming in for you, Sandy, soon. I also feel like you should. Don't ever give up hope of finding your other cat, but it's okay to let another kitty into your life. You have been longing for that connection, and you don't have to hold yourself back from it. It's okay. You're not betraying or cheating on your other cat. It's all right, because if that cat comes back, of course, they get to come right back into the fold. Of course. But your spirit needs this, and there's not a thing wrong with it. Okay? All righty. So, yes. So, put your feelers out. Make sure that people around you know that you are looking and that you would like to take somebody in. I feel like that cat is coming. And so do my fish. That was bizarre. I've never heard them do that before. Let's see. I guess we're probably out of time. Maureen just needs a quick clearing. Let's do that really quick. So, nausea, gut issues, and exhausted. So, two things. The Schumann resonance has been peaking again. That is really getting on people's, I want to say nerves. I guess it is nerves. That's created a ton of anxiety yesterday, and a lot of stomach stuff. So, Maureen, I'm just clearing you. Yep, really heavy aura. Speaking of people that are putting out everybody's fires and need a big rest, yeah. Okay, so I cleared your aura, went ahead and grounded your root. That looks actually quite a bit better, Maureen. That was a quickie, but that's what I got right now. Okay, last thing I want to let you guys know is we have a special sale going on today over at One Two Listen, actually all week. So for several hours in the morning, so from 5 a.m. I believe to noon Pacific, we have advisors on sale, like $3.99 super sale, and then in the afternoon, we have a new set of advisors that get to carry that price. Well, I got to carry that price this morning, but I missed the last hour of the sale because I was here with you guys. So I just had asked Mark a question and I just got the response. So I want to share it quickly. I'm going to go ahead and extend that sale for one more hour. So starting right now, for the next hour, you can call me over at One Two Listen at $3.99 a minute, which is so low and awesome. So as soon as we get off the show, I'll get signed in. But if you want to connect with me at that price, just for the next hour, and then we'll be back to regular prices. But keep watching this whole week. Everybody will be on sale at some point. So it's kind of fun. You guys, we've done what we do. We've definitely talked down to the end of the show. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Scott, for producing. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on One Two Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.